At the bottom of the world lies a land shrouded in eternal ice, a place untouched by time, where no nation rules, no wars are fought, and no civilians are allowed. A continent so isolated, yet guarded by the most powerful countries on Earth. This is Antarctica, a place more secretive than Area 51, more restricted than any war zone. And yet beneath its miles of frozen silence, it seems like something valuable is buried, something mankind was never meant to find. Why did Nazi Germany risk everything to explore this barren wasteland in 1938? Why did the United States launch its largest military expedition just a decade later, only to return home in defeat and silence? And why have all world powers, enemies, allies, and rivals signed a treaty to never claim it, mine it, or expose it? What are they hiding under the ice? Antarctica, the frozen truth. Antarctic Treaty of 1959, signed December 1, 1959, came into force June 23, 1961. Original signatories, 12 countries. Now, 56 nations. Official purpose, what they say publicly. Antarctica shall be used only for peaceful purposes, no military activity. Countries can conduct scientific research, but must share results. No nuclear explosions or radioactive waste allowed. No one can claim territory or expand existing claims. All activities are subject to mutual inspection to ensure compliance, a symbol of peace, science, and international cooperation. That's the narrative. The suspicions, what they're not telling you. 1. Why lock down the coldest, most useless place on Earth? If it's just ice and penguins, why would global superpowers care? No mining, no oil drilling, no colonizing. The world fights over oil, gold, land, but agrees to stay out of Antarctica? Too good to be true. 2. Heavily guarded zones. Many areas of Antarctica are off-limits to civilians, restricted to even most researchers. Constant military surveillance under research disguises. Why such tight control? 3. Operation High Jump, 1946-47. Just before the treaty, the U.S. launched its largest ever Antarctic military operation with 4,700 men, 13 ships, aircraft carriers. Official reason? Training. Unofficial reports? UFO sightings, mysterious craft, heavy casualties, early return. Shortly after this, 1959 treaty is signed. Coincidence? 4. Enemies united. During the Cold War, US and USSR were rivals. But both signed this treaty peacefully. Imagine Pakistan and India signing a mutual no-touch zone on a valuable territory. Unheard of. Unless there was a shared threat or discovery. Treaty still in force. Today, no permanent human settlements. Only 5,000 people live there temporarily. And those are scientists. You need special permission, must declare your activities, and are subject to inspection. Meanwhile, Earth's rainforests are destroyed, oceans mined, and mountains blown up. But Antarctica remains frozen, untouched, and protected by global enemies turned friends. Truth? Maybe the treaty wasn't about protecting Antarctica. Maybe it was about protecting the world from what lies beneath the ice. The visitors, what they found. Germany's Antarctica expedition, 1938-1939. What was the real motive? Official narrative. Nazi Germany launched the Schwabenland expedition to Antarctica in 1938-39. Claimed a portion of Antarctica between 20° and 10°, and named it Neuschwabenland. Took thousands of aerial photographs using aircraft launched from a ship equipped with catapults. Supposed goals: whaling, territorial claim, geopolitical influence. What's suspected beneath the surface? Whaling as a cover story. Whaling rights were the official excuse, but Germany had no massive whaling fleet at the time, which makes that claim shaky at best. Operation High Jump, 1946-1947. What was the U.S. doing? Official narrative, conducted by the U.S. Navy, led by Admiral Richard E. Byrd. included 13 ships, 4,700 men, and dozens of aircraft, the largest Antarctic military expedition in history. Publicly stated goal: scientific research, testing cold weather gear, training. What raises eyebrows? Too big for research. 13 ships, 4,700 men, aircraft carriers, for weather training? That's overkill. Sounds like a military operation, not just science. Sudden retreat. The expedition was cut short by several months, officially due to bad weather. But Admiral Byrd made a strange statement afterward. The U.S. should prepare for the possibility of enemy aircraft flying over the poles with incredible speed. What kind of aircraft was he talking about in 1947? Photos and mapping. Like the Nazis, the U.S. also took extensive aerial photos and mapped large parts of Antarctica, likely looking for hidden infrastructure, strategic locations, or even underground anomalies. Honest thoughts. The official reasons, whaling, training, science, are plausible on the surface but fall short when you consider the scale, secrecy, and timing. Germany was clearly probing for power, resources, or hidden knowledge. And America's response was military, not scientific. Something triggered massive interest in Antarctica between 1938 and 1947, and whatever was found hasn't been fully disclosed. The biggest truth? AC-3. The Wilkes Anomaly. The final veil. The Wilkes Land Anomaly, a buried structure or mass stretching over 300 miles wide under the Antarctic ice, first detected by NASA satellites. What is the Wilkes Land Anomaly? Location: Wilkes Land, East Antarctica. Discovered, 2006, by NASA's GRACE satellites mass, roughly 300 miles wide. Detected as a gravitational anomaly, suggesting a massive object or void buried 1,200 meters beneath the ice. Scientists suspect it could be the remains of a massive asteroid impact that triggered the Permian-Triassic extinction. The Great Dying. That's only a theory. Here is the truth. The anomaly's size and secrecy suggest something man-made or intelligently designed may lie below, not just a crater. Military and scientific silence adds fuel to suspicion. Why are all expeditions into this region sealed off? Why have scientific publications slowed or been filtered since its detection? Beneath 4,000 feet of ice lies a shape too perfect to be random, a gravitational signature too dense to ignore, a silence too global to be innocent. This is the Wilkes Anomaly. And it might not be a crater at all. It might be a vault, sealing off something that could rewrite human history, or end it. And here, the main question comes: why? Antarctica is frozen. Antarctica was not always frozen. Contrary to what mainstream education says, Antarctica used to be lush, green, and full of forests, rivers, and possibly even civilizations. This isn't speculation. This is confirmed by fossilized forests, leaf imprints, warm climate dinosaur fossils, pollen samples beneath the ice. Evidence shows Antarctica had a temperate or even tropical climate millions of years ago, and maybe even as recently as 12,000 years ago. So why did it freeze? Here are the three major theories, mainstream and forbidden. 1. Mainstream science, continental drift. Plus, Ice Age. Antarctica was once part of Gondwana, a supercontinent, slowly drifted to the South Pole. Around 34 million years ago, climate shifted. Ice started forming. Global temperatures dropped, and Antarctica became an ice trap due to ocean currents isolating it. Sounds tidy. But here's the problem. Fossils and samples suggest lush vegetation existed much more recently. Rapid freezing events, not gradual, have been detected in core samples. 2. Cataclysmic event theory. Truth seekers and geologists. Around 11,600 years ago, the Earth went through a massive global catastrophe. Sudden crustal displacement. Meteor, asteroid impact. Axis tilt or polar shift. This theory is supported by the Younger Dryas impact hypothesis, meltwater pulses and sudden sea level rise, ancient flood myths on every continent, all matching the same time period. What if Antarctica was a thriving land and froze overnight due to a pole shift? This aligns with Plato's Atlantis sinking in a single day and night of misfortune. Many suspect Atlantis, Antarctica, before it froze. 3. Deliberate lockdown, esoteric conspiracy theory. Antarctica was intentionally flash frozen by an advanced force, natural or artificial. Reason? To bury or protect something. Lost technology. Ancient civilizations. Non-human presence. A power source or gateway. Think of it as a planetary quarantine zone, frozen not by chance, but by design. What if Antarctica is the Earth's vault, sealed shut to stop us from finding the truth? And here comes another shocking truth. In accordance with the world's major religious and most preserved scripture, the Quran says, "And we opened the gates of the heaven with rain pouring forth. And we caused the earth to gush forth with springs, so the waters met for a matter already predestined." Surah Al-Qamar 54:11-12. The water came from above and below, massive, cataclysmic, all-consuming. The entire earth was said to be engulfed. Then Allah commanded, "And it was said, O earth, swallow your water, and O sky, withhold your rain." And the water subsided, and the matter was accomplished. Now connect this with Antarctica. Could that same floodwater have moved south into what is now Antarctica? Frozen rapidly due to a climate or axis shift? Preserved the remnants of that civilization? Or even the ark itself? Scientifically, is it possible? 1. Earth's water didn't come from nowhere. Flood legends exist worldwide at the same time frame, 11,600 years ago. Ice cores in Antarctica show massive freshwater deposits. Sudden, not gradual. Ice sheets there are over 2 miles thick. Not from slow snow buildup, but from a cataclysmic water event. 2. Rapid freezing is proven. In Siberia, woolly mammoths were flash frozen, with undigested food still in their stomachs. This proves a sudden, violent climate shift occurred, possibly the same time as the flood. 3. Geological evidence of the flood. Around 11,600 years ago, sea levels rose by 400+ feet in a short span. Glaciers melted suddenly, and in some regions, they formed rapidly. Some scientists believe massive displacement of water and land reshaped continents. The devastating theory. What if the Great Flood was more than a localized storm? What if it was a planetary reset caused by divine will? Or a massive cosmic or geological event? This means the water that drowned the Earth had to go somewhere. A massive portion of it may have been pulled toward the poles, where a sudden shift in Earth's axis caused it to freeze instantly. In other words, Antarctica might be the frozen remains of the flood. Let's start with the core question. Where is the Ark? Islamic and biblical tradition. The Quran says, "And it came to rest upon Al-Judi." Most scholars place Mount Judi in modern-day Turkey, near the borders of Iraq and Armenia. Biblical texts suggest Mount Ararat, also in Turkey. So why would it be in Antarctica? Here's the theory. Most people never consider pole shift, crustal displacement. Theory. A sudden shift of Earth's crust could have moved continents, displaced land masses, and relocated the Ark along with entire ecosystems. Antarctica may not have been where it is today when the Ark landed. What we call Mount Judi then might now be buried under ice. In this theory, the Ark didn't move, Earth did. Could the Ark be buried in Antarctica's ice? Let's connect strange historical events. 1938-39. Nazi Germany's mission secret expedition to Neuschwabenland, Antarctica. Mapped vast areas, took thousands of aerial photos. Rumors say they found a massive craft or structure buried under the ice, made of organic, ancient wood, not metal. Could this be a giant wooden vessel? The Nazis had occult units obsessed with biblical artifacts and Aryan origins, including hunting for the Ark of the Covenant and the Holy Grail. If they even suspected the Ark of New was real and buried in Antarctica, they'd stop at nothing. 1946–47. Operation High Jump, largest U.S. military expedition ever sent to Antarctica. Public goal, scientific research. Real goal, possibly to investigate what the Nazis discovered. Admiral Byrd reported, flying crafts that could travel from pole to pole at incredible speeds. But what if he saw a buried object so massive it couldn't be explained, or even evidence of a ship, perfectly preserved, with no explanation for how it got there? Modern anomalies, 2006–2016. Google Earth images show massive arc-like formations under ice ridges. One structure measuring over 500 feet long, partially buried. Satellite imaging detects unusual carbon signatures under ice, possibly ancient wood. Wood cannot survive that long unless perfectly preserved, like in ice. The Ark of Prophet Nu did not land in modern Turkey. It landed on a pre-shift landmass that is now buried beneath Antarctica's ice. That ark could still be intact, still be hidden under miles of ice, still carry remnants of a pre-flood world or technology we don't understand. Why would they cover it up? Because if proven, it confirms the truth of divine revelation, Islam, Quran, prophetic history. It destroys secular scientific timelines of human history. It proves a pre-flood civilization existed. It opens up questions about what else is buried, hidden, or deliberately erased. Multiple global myths, from Sumerian tablets to Egyptian hieroglyphs to Plato's Atlantis, hint at a pre-flood advanced civilization that was wiped out during a cataclysm. Antarctica may have been a once thriving landmass before it froze over, 12,000 years ago. The final resting place of lost cities, technologies, or even non-human structures buried under miles of ice. In 2016, satellite images showed odd geometric shapes, pyramid-like structures, and underground anomalies, prompting sudden silence. Food for thought moment. Could Prophet Noah's Ark be still perfectly preserved underneath the ice desert of Antarctica? Could Antarctica's ice be that flood water which got frozen in a dramatic way? Could this be the truth which attracted the Germans and then Americans? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe GenZ Mind.